Sorrentino opět úžasně vystihl to míjení času a stárnutí a smíření se s tím faktem, že některé věci už jsou nenávratně pryč, což mimo jiné dokazuje ta scéna v bazénu krásná s tou nahou slečnou. Tak se chci zeptat, jaké vlastně vaše to přijetí míjení času a kde si vyhledáte svoje krásy života. Děkuju.
Maybe everyone else should leave. We have to have a discussion. Which part of that question would be the most meaningful to you? I mean, you're asking me a life question, and I don't know how I can answer that in these moments here. Could you ask a part of it again, if you don't mind?
Jak se vám daří vyrovnávat se s tím míjením času a kde jsou vaše krásy života v téhle etapě životní? Děkuju.
You know, I think about this every day of my life, passing of time. I deal with it the way any of you deal with it. You think about it, you smile at it, kick it in the face, embrace it, try to get away from it. But it all adds up to that one life that we all have. But I feel funny. I'm not here to lecture on life. You know, I don't have some hidden philosophy that will make time stop for all of us, which I'd like to make it do sometimes. But then we'd be here forever. That would be a bore, I guess. So I'm not going to be able to squeeze that in there. So they need to be.
Tak máme další otázku? Tak paní Spáčilová nejdřív, Mladá fronta, potom ve stejné řadě, jo, pak si pošle.
Spáčilová dnes, já bych se ráda přidala k té chvále filmu, je opravdu nádherný. Vede tady v diváckém hlasování, dokonce někteří lidé říkají, že vyjdou z kina a chtěli by ho vidět znovu hned od začátku. Já bych se ráda zeptala, poznal jste vy a vaši kolegové hned na začátku projektu a při natáčení, že se rodí film tak výjimečný? Dá se to rozeznat během práce? Děkuji.
Well, having seen Paolo Sorrentino's two of his films, Il Divo and The Great Beauty, one becomes aware of the great beauty that Paolo has to offer all of us. And then he went ahead and did it again with the screenplay of Youth. So everyone was there. I didn't ask anyone why they were there. I knew why I was there, for the same reasons that he gave us Il Divo and The Great Beauty. It was a privilege to work on it. It's kind of story, mythology that I like to read about, contemplate about. I'm talking too much. No, listen, let me just say, it's very difficult to talk about this movie. I didn't write it, and I didn't direct it. I'm in it, and I write and direct my own movie within the movie, if you know what I mean. If you don't, let's have a drink later. I don't want this to seem like the dumbest press conference you ever attended, but I'm humbled by Paolo Sorrentino's work and the work everyone did on the movie and his other movies that I've seen. So I'll do my best here today for you. I appreciate your coming. I came because I care about the movie a lot. I think Paolo's work is important, and obviously a lot of other people do as well. So I should be sitting with you, and I should be asking you questions as well so we can have a discussion. So I'll do my best, okay? Thank you.
Tak prosím. Yeah, and then you, okay? You just put the microphone after, okay?
Okay.
No problem.
So my question is there in older age that you can now say that now, when I'm a little bit older than I was, now it is better than when I was young? What is good about being elder age?
You see, you're asking me to philosophize now.
Yes, I do.
It's all been great. It's all great. I mean, I've learned on my own particular journey. I'm going to try to maybe pretend that we're having a drink together, because otherwise I feel a bit embarrassed to sort of, for anyone to think that I'm preaching about life. I'm just living it just the way you are, with great joy and great difficulty. But the summation of it all for me has been a pleasure. A deeply dark pleasure. And it continues to be so. Not sure I answered the question, but did I? No. Okay, say it again then. I mean,
what is getting better with the age?
What is good?
Awareness. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what age offers, is the opportunity to become aware. So I'm glad you asked that. For me, it's been awareness. The study of things, the contemplation of things, the literature, the art, the mystery, friends, enemies, likes, dislikes. And to become aware of all these things, for me, is just a beautiful thing. And it's not easy. Have I answered a little more?
Go ahead.
You work with Veronesi, Ettore Scola, Lina Wertmüller, Damiano Damiani, Sergio Citti, and now Paolo Sorrentino. What about your work in Italian? You like the Italian scene, and you mean it's possible for this Italian industry to have other person like Sorrentino or other most important?
You're having them now. With I'm forgetting the names of the other Italian directors now that did Gomorrah and the Tree of Wooden Clogs, and the other fellow now that's directing in Italy as well as Paolo. Is it possible? Italy will never be without the kinds of people that you name. Just look at Italy. I mean, everyone knows Italy, the beauty of it. I mean, they began it all. The Rossellini's, Fellini's, and Open City, and all the rest of the Italians. My goodness, I mean, the heritage there, the lineage, the power to build that city alone. So just to walk the streets of Italy is a gift. Okay.
Hello, it's Ninos Mikelidis from Greece. I have two questions for you. One is about the film. I mean, the main subject is youth, and I suppose the joy of making a film. But indirectly, or on a second level, there is also a commentary about the kind of Hollywood filmmaking. And what is your opinion about this kind of filmmaking today in Hollywood, and how much is this having an effect on the rest of the cinema? And my second question is that since you made a film with Theo, you know Greece quite a lot, I suppose. What is your opinion about what's happening today, the economic situation and the crisis, and the way this austerity and the poverty that has been forced by the three, what they call themselves, institutions or troika?
I wrote down that answer. I'm glad you asked it. First of all, you mentioned Theo Angelopoulos, whom I revere. And he was a genius, and they said of him that he was Homeric, and I believe he was. So I'm sad that he has left us, but certainly his work will stand forever in my mind, like Homer's. So that takes care of Theo Angelopoulos. Cinema's always been difficult. Hollywood's always been for me, a cultural symbol. I'm sorry, maybe the head of the culture of the USA, because it reflects a great deal about us. The beauty of developing cinema the way they did, and the fact that they revere cinema themselves, and the great films that have come out of Hollywood, the great stories that were told, and how these stories affect the people. And we learn from them. We grow from these people that we meet on the screen, the way we did from the French cinema, Spanish, Italian. This is the gift of cinema. That's why I'm here with all of you. I'm really here to celebrate our work together. I've sat out there, with you more often than I've sat up here. And the importance of cinema just continues. Sometimes it gets off course and goes for what is commercial. It goes for what's, to touch on the other part of your question, the economics of the world, which I'm an expert on. People sometimes go for the money because all of us are frightened and we want security, and security means fame and fortune makes you believe somehow that you live forever or that you're more important than somebody else, which is a lie. So Hollywood's been great for us, and it's also been a demon. But we wouldn't want to do without Hollywood. We don't want to get rid of Hollywood. We want to improve the quest of people like Angelopoulos and the Italian directors, this gentleman named over here, and the Sorrentinos, whose film we're all here discussing today. So I'm really proud to be in the cinema. I began in the theater in New York City, coming from the streets of Brooklyn, seeing the wonderful people on screen that you've all seen, at least some of you that are around my age, and continue with the Tarantinos, the Sorrentinos, and the Scorseses, and on and on. Jane Campion comes to mind, but there are so many. So we have to struggle to make the kind of films we'd like to make. We can't always do it because greed is a villain in the world. Greed does exist. Fear does exist. Heroism exists also. Okay, I've done my best to answer that.
Go ahead.
Hello.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, the crisis would go forever, sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, Mariela Victor from Poland. First of all, congratulations for your very touching, strong performance in Youth. But secondly, you mentioned about Tarantino. And meeting with Tarantino was kind of the breakthrough in your career. So
I'm sorry, I'm having a little difficult time to understand.
Understanding.
I need some help.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. You mentioned whom?
Tarantino meeting, because it was your intuition, because you get money for Reservoir Dogs. So what was the reason you believed in this project, and can you tell us more about it?
You invested it.
Well, Lily Parker. Remember that name, Lily Parker. And who did I tell yesterday I would get them that name? You.
Yes.
Okay,
Lily
her
Parker.
name is Lily Parker. A woman gave me that script, Reservoir Dogs. A colleague of mine from the Actors Studio called me out of the blue one day and said, I have a script I think you're going to like. Lily Parker was her name. I knew her from the Actors Studio, a very talented lady who went on to have her own theater in New Mexico, I think it was, or Tahoe. And because of who she was and what she was as an artist, I said, send it over. And the rest is the history that you know. We made the movie. Now that's a good example, I mean, of what this gentleman was asking before. No one wanted to make that movie. No one wanted to give us the money to make Reservoir Dogs. We tried so hard. And at the end of the day, another woman came along, Ronna Wallace. I hope you write down the names of these women. And Ronna Wallace got us the money for the movie. She was working for a company called Live Entertainment at the time. I don't know where Ronna is now. Ronna did Reservoir Dogs. Am I mixing myself up? Yes, Reservoir Dogs, as well as The Bad Lieutenant. I'm sorry, that was Ed Pressman. What am I mixing up now? No, Ronna did Reservoir Dogs and The Bad Lieutenant. So these two women in my life, you know, when you read Reservoir Dogs, like Lily Parker knew, there was something extraordinary about the screenplay. And when I first read it, I said, I have to do this movie. And I called Quentin, Lawrence Bender, actually, his producer. And then we all met together, and that journey began. And you just knew from his screenplay that you were in the presence of an extraordinary talent. Does that answer your question? I'm not sure. Yeah?
Go ahead.
Yes, hello, from Finnish radio, right here. I wanted to ask about one of your great films and great roles is the film Snake Eyes, you made with Ferrara. And in this film, it must be a very difficult film to make and a difficult role to act. Could you say something about that film and your collaboration with Abel Ferrara?
Well, Abel and I met when we got together on The Bad Lieutenant. And that was the first time, and that film, Snake Eyes you're talking about, was the second time and the last time. I hope we're going to do more together. We're trying to. Abel is another extraordinary talent. If I keep saying this, it's not because I'm trying to tout my friends, but I've been very lucky to work with a number of extraordinary talents. And Abel Ferrara is another one. He just has, like all the other people we're talking about, the Scorseses and the Tarantinos and the Angelopouloses and the Jane Campions, he's got this soul that's, when you meet him, when you understand his idea, you want to be around that idea because you believe it's going to take you someplace. And it did take me someplace, making The Bad Lieutenant with him and the Snake Eyes film. Snake Eyes film wasn't as successful, but we put everything into it that we did into the other film. And it's a pleasure to work with people like that. Like I say, I have to humble myself. I feel very, very lucky that I met these various people, or I wouldn't be sitting here today. It's because of them that I am here today. But this stream of life that you were asking me about before has to do with these kinds of people. You hope you meet the right girl, and you girls hope you meet the right guy. In every which way you could think of. In your work, in your love. And that helps you to live the life better. Okay. I don't know. Does that do it for you?
Was it Abel Ferrara's alter ego?
I'm sorry?
What were you basically playing Abel Ferrara in the film Snake Eyes? Can you say? Yeah.
No, I'm not playing Abel Ferrara. I'm not even sure Abel Ferrara is playing Abel Ferrara. Or anybody else that writes. I mean, everyone sort of plays aspects of themselves, whether it's in music, dance, literature. So I don't think it would be fair to say that anyone, played themselves or wrote themselves, but certainly aspects of themselves and the mystery that is themselves. What are you looking for with that question? Who are you?
Tak.
I can hear.
Last try, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's like I felt that in that film, making that film is like getting under the skin of a filmmaker, and it's a very difficult role to play, I'm sure. And I think it's about it must be about filmmakers' own struggling with the world.
Like I say, it's all of us struggling in the world. That's why we come together. We love these books that we read and dances that we see and music that we hear. I mean, we're all getting under each other's skin in a very good way. Getting under in order to become aware, so we can come out of our skin and bring what's under that skin into our lives and live it better. So.
Jirka Spačová, prosím.
Ještě jednou.
Well, let me say fuller. When I say better, I really mean fuller, more completely. And we know when we're living it more completely. You can feel it. Problem with that is you always want to repeat it, and it's not always available. That made me laugh, but okay. Yeah.
Já bych se ráda vrátila k té italské kinematografii a k její slavné éře, o které jste tady mluvil.
Sorry, am I listening to? Sorry.
Jestli mohu zpátky do Itálie a její slavné éry, o které jste tady mluvil, s takovou láskou asi, kterou všichni sdílíme. Včera v noci přišla zpráva, že neteř Federica Felliniho prodala, respektive rodina prodala práva na remake Sladkého života. Mě by zajímalo, co si myslíte o takové recyklaci slavných látek, o prodeji rodinného stříbra, jestli to máme nechat být a je to prostě nostalgie, anebo jestli byste vy něčeho takového byl schopen. Děkuji.
Great question.
Good luck. I mean, someone can have an idea about something that we consider to be a classic, and we should leave it alone. But then again, we have to support any artist that has an idea about anything to find out if they have another deeper, more profound experience than we had before about that particular subject. So I wouldn't want to stop any artist from creating anything they have in their mind to create. Would I go and see it? Maybe. It would depend on what somebody said about it. You know, maybe to be clearer about what I'm saying, although I think I was pretty clear there. I saw Madame Butterfly, a production of it once, that just rocked me. What's his name that directed it? Oh, gosh. Directed by, who's that wonderful director from New York? He has his own theater. He directs these unique plays, and he has his own theater on Long Island in the States now. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry I can't remember his name. He's such a well-known fellow. Anyway, he directed a version of Madame Butterfly that I had seen in Los Angeles that simply moved the world a little bit for me.
Is it Andrei Serban?
Who?
Is it Andrei Serban?
No. Okay, look it up, somebody. The production that was done in Los Angeles of Madame Butterfly about 7 years ago, maybe, I don't know, something like that. Maybe more. Anyway, and then I went to see another production. I didn't want it. Who?
Robert Wilson.
Robert Wilson. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. It was just meant everything to me. And I didn't want to see any other productions of Madame Butterfly. Then another one showed up in New York a couple of years later. And I didn't want to go to see it. But for some reason, I had to go because my in-laws were in town. And my wife wanted to show them, take them to see Madame Butterfly. And I didn't want to go because I just wanted to leave it alone. I didn't want anything to interfere with my experience of that. And I went. And to this day, I regret that I went. It affected me in a way that I wanted to strangle the director. With all due respect, though. I would still support his right to do it. But we have to be careful about what we put ourselves in front of sometimes, because it could be upsetting. So much for La Dolce Vita and the rest of it. That's the world according to me. Okay.
Hey, who comes next? Okay. It's the gentleman right there, white blue shirt.
Nacelková Lidové noviny, dobrý den. Já jsem si chtěl zeptat i s ohledem na
festival. Takes me a few beats before I understand that it's Czech.
I s ohledem na festivalovou znělku, kterou jste natočil, se chci zeptat, jestli si vzpomenete, jaký byl osud té trofeje, toho křišťálového globu.
I'm sorry, wait a minute.
He didn't finish the question, so let him ask and then I'll...
Oh, okay.
Jaký byl osud křišťálového globu, který jste tady dostal v roce 2004? Poté, co jste ho dostal, jestli si vybavíte, kde teď je. S ohledem na festivalovou znělku se ptám.
Yeah. We forgot to mention that you are the Crystal Globe recipient, eh?
Why do you want to know about that?
Well, because of the short movie you are in. Huh? Well, because of the jingle you are in. Do you remember the one which was done in the Brooklyn bar?
Yeah.
Well, we all see it here every year, 2,000 times. So we are interested where the prize is, really. Like, where do you have it?
You see it every year?
Every year it's being performed here before the movies.
Oh, you do?
Over and over and over.
I didn't know that. I don't know where it is. It's home. That's what you really want to know. Where is it?
But home where?
What? I feel there's something else to you. I'm sorry? I feel there's something else to your question, but and if there is, I'd like to know what it is because I don't get it.
Okay.
Am I not?
So do you know? Where
I've never seen the film, by the way.
Oh.
So I don't know
maybe
what it's like, but I know that we had fun doing it.
We can arrange that.
Is there something more to the question I'm not getting?
No, there's nothing more to the question. We just want to know where the Crystal Globe is. Is it in the bathroom or is it?
If I tell you, then I'm going to have to kill you. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Aleš Hudský, Marketing and Media. We see you not only in this festival trailer, but also in the commercials all the year around, the commercials that you have done. Is there some product that you really would have as a product of dreams that you would like the commercials to shoot? Like, was it Johnny Walker, for example, which you have done, or?
No. Next question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, first row. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Harri Rampati from Finland. What kind of direction do you prefer? Do you want the director to leave you space to improvise, to build the role yourself, or do you prefer like really precise direction?
Well, I'll speak for myself alone, but I think everybody loves getting a wonderful script. So we love the written word. And but in making films, where you can improvise at times, as opposed to the theater where you cannot, to be able to improvise is a good tool to have. In rehearsal, to get you into the role, to learn more about the role. And also when you're shooting, if an idea comes up, you're free to explore a road that came to mind, whereas you can't do that on the stage. So it's all good. It's all part of our work. Tools that we use in creating that take us to closer to the role. But improvisation is a wonderful tool. And actors should know how to do that well. It's very helpful.
Done?
Does that answer your question?
Okay.
Also, I was wondering whether you prefer, like, from the directors, that they like really direct you closely, or whether you like the more rules.
And, you know, it's I'm not being poetic when I say it's like a dance. Really, you choose the right partner and you love that dance. The wrong partner and you're stepping on each other's toes. That's the way it is.
Now here the Greek crisis is coming.
No, I'm not talking about the crisis. But what I admire about you is the kind of roles that you played, so different and with so really important directors, starting from Martin Scorsese, going to Sorrentino, through Tarantino and Altman. But there are two roles that always have stuck in my mind that I like, besides all the other parts. Was the one in Fingers with James Toback, and the other one, the two actually, with Paul Auster, who was a writer. He's still a writer, an excellent writer, one of my that I prefer. And I would like you to talk a bit about how was it working with Auster, and also maybe about Toback, because he's disappeared, and he was a very good director. James Toback, I mean, he's disappeared from the scene, and he was actually a very important director at the time.
I agree with you, but he hasn't disappeared. He is around, and he did that wonderful film, comes to mind, about Mike Tyson. Did anybody see that? Yeah. Yeah. Right. I thought that was an extraordinary piece of work. And he's trying to get a film started right now as we speak, matter of fact. So he hasn't disappeared, but Jim is one of those very unique-minded writer-directors. And I love that combination, by the way, writer-director, because sort of their bones are in it when they also write it, you know. I sort of prefer that situation. And he had written Fingers, and it was a very close collaboration that we had. We've been close friends ever since that time. And you'll hear more from him. He's just one of these iconic directors, and his ideas are oftentimes ahead of their time. I'll go ahead and say it. I think Fingers was. The public wasn't, and the distribution channels weren't exactly ready for Fingers at that time. We like to think that had Fingers come out 15 years later, we would have been big stars.
It was badly remade recently. You know that.
Well,
it was remade badly a couple of years ago.
Let me say this: I didn't make the same mistake to see that I did with Madame Butterfly. So I wish them luck, and I'm glad they made it because they had in their mind to make it, but I didn't see it. Now, what was the other thing you asked me about?
Paul Auster.
Well, Paul's a wonderful writer, like you said. I'll tell you just one funny thing about that, because I like saying this. When I was sent, why am I holding this in my ear? When I was sent Smoke was there, right? Yeah. So it was a very thick script. It was like that. I said, oh my God. I mean, it was great. I love getting words, so I was happy that it was a thick script, but it was thick. And I started reading it, and I'm reading it, and I'm reading it, and it's going on, and I'm not connecting with it. But then by the time I got to the end of it and finished it, I realized, my God, what a voluminous piece of work. It was like 100 and some odd pages, I forget now. At the time it was really a lot. And I didn't connect with it so well. And I went back to Paul and Wayne Wang, who directed it, wonderful director. And I said to Paul Auster, I don't get it, but you work so hard to write this, and if you want me to play the part, I will. And that's how I came to make that movie. And then I got it once we were in the making of it. I just didn't connect with it when I first read it. So I'm really glad that Paul didn't let me go. And, well, he hasn't done many movies lately, has he? No. Well, I hope he does. Wonderful writer, wonderful guy.
We have like 2 more questions, guys, so...
Už víme roky, že jste...
I'm ready for you.
Roky víme, že jste skvělý herec a jsme rádi, že jste zase tady. Ale nevíme, nebo já nevím, jaký jste jako divák. Mě by zajímalo, jestli se dovedete v kině, v divadle smát, plakat nahlas, nadávat, prožívat, anebo jestli držíte poker face a tyhle ty výlevy si necháváte pro sebe. Děkuju.
If you asked me that question and we were having a drink together, I know I would laugh all the way through the drink, and we'd have a great conversation. Well, you know. That's my answer.
Okay. It's a gentleman in the third row.
Jakub Schweiner, Internet Czech Movie Database. I would like English. I would like to ask you whether you can somehow describe, not very deeply, the cooperation with your colleague Michael Caine, and if you can highlight some great moments in that movie. Thanks.
Well, Michael Caine is one of those actors that, when I was a young actor, we all learned from. Alfie was a performance that every actor should try to come up to. And he's done many roles like that. A moment in the movie that was I can't think of any really. Sorry, I can't think of anything. It might come from my reluctance to talk about the movie that way, because I always feel like I'm violating something about the movie if I go into, oh well, you know, when he bent over, he tore his pants, and a bird flew out. And that bird landed on a tree. No, okay, that's all I have to say. But let's see if we can exhaust them before they exhaust us. So if anybody has any other questions, ask them.
Yeah.
Because it might be another 11 years before I'm back.
Okay, let's go last chance. Jana Podklaska.
By the way, we know we know for sure it's 11 years, because first time I was here, my wife was pregnant with our son. So he's now 11 years old. And that's how we know it's 11 years between visits.
Ještě jednou Podskalská dob. Já se chci zeptat ještě jednou na mládí, protože vaše postava tam vlastně je konfrontovaná s tím, jak dopadla ve své profesi, a dopadá na konci toho filmu vlastně neslavně. Neustojí tu konfrontaci. Tak se by mě zajímalo, jestli i vy sám osobně rád bilancujete, nebo jestli to necháváte plynout, a jak dopadají vaše bilance. Děkuju.
with all due respect, it's the kind of question I can't answer. I can only say to you that I do my best.
Ještě někdo?
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Thank you. No. Tak už
you mentioned that
we're going to have to move in together.
Yes, we
okay, quickly.
Yes.
No, that's okay.
You mentioned that you started in the theater. I don't know. Are you continuing now? Do you plan to?
I plan to. Yes.
Anything?
I don't have anything I'm going to do right now, but I'm looking for a play to do. Yes. As a matter of fact, no. If I say it, someone's liable to steal my idea. I wanted to do a play with Teo, to film a play, but it's not going to happen. Yeah.
The Greek tragedy, maybe?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Sure. How could I say no to you about anything?
Děkuji moc krát. Děkujeme.
Thank you.